we have been to Monka Lane, courtship woods for the busting of the wood to get the wife. Then we have moved on to Moria for the old-time traditional wedding, and even headed to Charville for Natural Treasures Day. So now we are here at Les Coteaux for folk tales and superstitions. I am Kadisha and I am here with
Hyacinth Leander.
So Miss Hyacinth,
Well, aka Tanti Haya.
can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, first of all, thank you for coming and thank you for having me. Well, Les Coteaux is well known for folk tales and superstition, and I've been in the art from since, baby. Yes, since diaper stage. That was before Pampers, right? So, Les Coteaux is a mystical village that, they speak about the rituals that are being done. And of course, we are very close-knit with Gola Lane. So that reel and jig has always been very prominent in our community as well. And this year, our production is entitled The Price of Promise, the Dandy Abel story, which was told to us by Mr. Laford Peters and Miss Faith Gilman. We also got some input from Ulrich Grant about this man that existed over 100 years ago, because they knew him as a kid and they are now in their 80s, right? So this year's production, we have a character called Dandy, and Dandy was a favorite in the community. He was a soulfish as well as he had a way with the ladies. So he didn't have to be a part of your life in order to give. So he was also a very giving person. But, the ladies always fight for Dandy, because Dandy was somehow enriched or endowed, as we would call it, and then he also had a worth. So, of course, he was the person within the space that would, help out, whether or not he was involved. So, this year, we intend to show you all who Dandy Abel is or was.
So, can you tell us how does Dandy fit into the folk tales and superstition story?
Right. So, it was said that there was a particular meal that was given to Dandy, which I would not expose at this moment. So, in Les Coteaux, we have a way with our food. So, all I can tell you is that that meal was made out of farine, and I wouldn't tell you the milk that it was used. You had to come Les Coteaux on Thursday the 23rd to understand how to make this meal for Dandy. And of course, we have the aspects of the medicinal bushes and all these things that you could use for different things, as you go through life as a woman or a young man.
When people hear of the word Les Coteaux, why it always brings such fright into people actually coming into the village?
Well, back in the days, we had like 3 plantations here, and we were said to be the community that has the most slaves and the most mystical slaves. So it is said that, they were so talented. They could have areas like with their coppers and say what they want within the copper of water, and if they want a fish would come out, and if you're sick, they can speak certain words and you start to feel healed. They can go into the cemetery, actually have conversations with their ancestors, come back out and give you the remedy. So those are the mystical things about Les Coteaux that I don't think anywhere else has.
So that is what gave it the name for heritage.
Well, folk tales and superstition, yeah, because there's also the aspect of the fairy maid, which is something that, we haven't spoke about in a while, because all rivers, from the stories that were told to us, had a lot of fairy maids. So you had to be very careful when you go by the river. You always had to have a basket or a comb, because once the fairy maid showed herself to you, that means they would take you away, right? So it had like the Laja Bless, who would smell sweet, charm the man. And once you light a cigar, she disappears. And then there's also the aspect of the dwang, because as a child, there was an experience, and I'm wondering if I should speak about this experience as a child.
Yes.
Growing up next to the cemetery, you'd always hear this baby crying. And I remember there was a pastor by the name of Dada. The area where they buried that child, he had to, dig it up and do things over in order to lay that child to rest. And that was the first time I've heard the story about a twin.
Oh.
Yes, because the child was not christened before, you know, they passed. So they were roaming and playing with little children and all of that. But you would always hear the cry, you know, at night and that kind of thing.
So does any of the traditions from long time, like coming inside late after 2 in the morning, they just call it graveyard shift, that you had to turn your back and come inside, you know, they say, throw salt by your front door, throw rice, throw something, so that when you go in, nothing follows you. So do these traditions live on?
In some families, they do, like the older heads, they still believe in the tradition. Even till this day, when they go to funeral, they leave the clothes outside, they have their shoes cleaned and all these things. You still find people using fix broom, you know, putting salt in the four corners of their house. There are some of the older folks that do carry on the tradition. As for the younger ones who are probably in their 20s and their 30s, they are still trying to, you know, adjust to that, you know, lifestyle that their ancestors and even their persons within their family now, you know, experience or carry on. So I believe it's alive, but we, and I'm glad for heritage, we have to continue keeping it alive, because it somehow starts to, you know, die.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, no, I had to do something to at least showcase what the heritage is about, because the heritage to me is kind of failing. But I don't want it to fail, but I still want people to come, see, experience what Tobago has to offer pertaining to heritage.
Well, that's a good thought, Khadija, but it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of reaching out to different communities, educating the communities about the tradition, about the heritage, going into schools even. You know, just laying that foundation. So maybe 5 years from now, we'll be back into the space that we know as heritage, as it used to be back then.
So can you tell us what persons should expect when they come to Les Coteaux?
Laughter, true remedies that will be revealed, and the story of the man himself, the true story of the man, as you know, all elders remember him.
Can you tell us how should persons and even myself should prepare to come into Les Coteaux for folk tales and superstitions?
Well, of course, you could have a nice light bath with salt and blue and a little lavender. If not, you could put 3 cloves in your head. If that ain't work, you could get 3 matchstick, 2 backwards and the 1 in the middle facing to the front. Or you could put a rusty nail right in the middle on the temple on your head. Garlic and salt for your pocket, if you prefer that. If you prefer to walk with a little, yeah.
You know what? I feel I got the all. I got safeguard myself, I got the all. So I'm well covered.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? I'm well covered. So again, it was nice having you with us, giving us some of the information, well, informing me and yet still the viewers about Les Coteaux heritage, folk tales and superstitions. And guys, continue to see more of Tobago heritage through my eyes on Touch Tobago Live.